Okay, this video is coming from a place of deep concern. And we're going to talk about MSTR. We're going to talk about the cash fund that they've raised, why they need a cash reserve, what that was for, what's all of the mystery around that. But really this video is, because I've just seen the amount of concern and the amount of fear and the amount of FUD that I've seen from $1,000 net worthers who clearly can't read. I'm not even talking about filings, public filings, because everything is public. It's a public company. But they can't read numbers on the website. They can't go to strategy.com. They just click retweet and repeat, like NPCs. They just repeat. Saylor'S going to get liquidated. Repeat. Forward the text message. Forward. Not think, forward. And they can't seem to think about these things. They can't seem to actually use their brain to think about these things. There's a lot of gold bugs that are thinking this. There's a lot of traders that are thinking this. Saylor'S going to get liquidated. Saylor'S going to get liquidated. Well, firstly, let's talk about this cash fund that they've raised. So instead of using their ATM from last week to buy more, maximum amount of Bitcoin, they've decided to put together a cash reserve fund. Why did they have to do this? Because they're issuing preferred stock. They've got these preferred products out there in the market, and those preferred products are promising a dividend. So one of the causes of concern for Strategy was, what if you can't pay that dividend because Bitcoin underperforms? So what has Strategy done? Strategy has come out and said, right, we now have a 21-month fund to pay all of the dividends. Now, I wouldn't actually be mad if Strategy basically said every time we do an ATM, 10% of that ATM is going to go into this dividend payment fund, and the other 90% is going to be used to buy more Bitcoin. I wouldn't be mad at that, because it would just improve, and this is the key thing, and this is why I think they've done it, it would improve the credit rating of MSTR. And of course, the goal right now for Strategy is to get those preferred products graded, rated, and out there so people can start using them. People can start buying them. People that didn't have access to these preferred products can actually get access to them. Right now, there's a market the size of $100 trillion that can't buy these products. So getting them graded is extremely important, because then you can fit it into the risk profile. If you've got a fund, you're going to be told you can only buy AAA rated or whatever. And they need to be able to justify the purchase to their investors, and therefore they need to be graded. It's very, very simple, right? So, Strategy is currently trading at a 1.15 MNAV. And they've just increased or just raised this cash fund to pay their dividends. And what they've basically covered is 21 months worth of dividends. So all of the people for months, all of them going on about, oh, they won't be able to pay these dividends. They're going to go bankrupt on these dividends. Oh my God, these dividends. Da, 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 da. NPCs. And within a week, basically all of that's gone. They got 21 months worth of coverage. And again, like I said, as a shareholder, I wouldn't be mad if they said, you know what, to increase the credit rating, what we're going to do is we're going to take 10% of all the ATMs that we raise, and that's going to go into the dividend payment fund, right? And then they're going to keep proving every single week that they can do this ATM, and the dividend payment fund's just going to keep going up and up and up, right? I wouldn't be mad if they did that. They got 650,000 Bitcoin at this point. Right? I wouldn't be mad if they did that, because again, you're trying to, the point of the preferred products is we're going to borrow money at 10% and we're going to buy an asset that is CAGRing at 30%, right? That's the pitch. And as a shareholder, I'm extremely happy the way they've done it, because they've managed to put the gas pedal down and acquire 650,000 Bitcoin. Right? Imagine if we were still sitting last year, right, and on their $21 billion plan, and they were still doing it over 3 years. We'd probably be sitting at like 490,000 Bitcoin. There's 650,000 Bitcoin there now. as a shareholder, I'm extremely happy about that. Right? But let's talk a little bit about these monkeys that talk about, you know, the debt. The debt is too much on strategy. The debt is too high. They're going to get liquidated. Well, firstly, you're an idiot because, I mean, I really think that you're smoking crack cocaine at this point. Like, I cannot fathom in my mind, and this is the benefit of me not having sponsors, because I could just say what I want to say. There was times where I actually contemplated, because of a friend, you know, I chatted with a few companies that wanted to sponsor, and the first thing they said was, you can't say this, you can't say this, you can't say that. And I told them to get fucked. Because the reality is, if I want to say that you sound like that you are smoking crack cocaine, that's what I want to say. And you, if you think strategy is going to get liquidated, you sound to me like you are smoking crack cocaine. I don't know what else to say. I cannot fathom what must have happened in my life for me to be that stupid. Like, I don't know what needed to have happened to be that stupid. Because firstly, this is a $67.5 billion company. That was $100 billion before the slide down in Bitcoin price and MSTR price. That will go up. That will go up to 120 very, very quickly, right? And they've got $8 billion of debt. They got a debt leverage ratio of 12%. So, and they've got annual dividends of $807 million, right? Like, none of this makes any sense whatsoever. They've got a $1.44 billion US dollar reserve now. And most importantly, let me cover the most important thing, that anyone having the ability to read English, and if you don't have the ability to read English, put paperwork into ChatGPT in whichever language you speak to ChatGPT in and say, translate this for me and tell me what this means. This is what I mean. These people are thick. These people are thick. Like, I just don't know what to say to these people anymore. And you can imagine me being in my position. I've been getting text messages for the last 4 or 5 days going, is Saylor going to get liquidated? Is Saylor going to force to sell? Is Saylor... They got a 12% debt ratio. And most importantly, the debt is unencumbered, which means it's not aligned with Bitcoin. Now, there's a little bit of fear mongering going on based on what Feng Li, who's the CEO, said, and that is that if we have to sell Bitcoin, we can sell Bitcoin. And a lot of this messaging, especially the US dollar reserve, that we can sell Bitcoin, etc., has been done to appease the S&P and the credit rating agencies, because they want to know that if we lend you money, will you be able to pay it back? Or are you just gonna sit there like a dumbass and just hold on to Bitcoin as it's going to zero? They don't want to hear that. They don't understand Bitcoin, and they don't want to hear that, right? So there's a lot of positioning and a lot of things that have been happening with MSTR and everything else that are designed to appease TradFi markets, to get these products rated, to get them functioning in the market so that they can get access to this capital. And how do you know that it's working? Because JP Morgan released a Bitcoin-backed, like, effectively a bond product. Right? JP Morgan released one themselves. So you know this market is big because JP Morgan wants to enter the market. JP Morgan wants to get some of that action. So they've got 21.4 months of dividend coverage. Right? And by the way, the other thing that people don't realize is the preferred products, STRC, STRK, STRF, STRE, these are not debt. These are preferred stock sales. This is not debt on the balance sheet of MSTR. And even if it was, as of this moment, I'm looking at it right now, $7.8 billion on a $68 billion company, in addition to the $8.2 billion of debt. We're at like 22% if it was debt, and it's not. And by the way, that's 21 months of dividend coverage with the cash reserve, including the Bitcoin reserve. They've got 73.1 years of dividend coverage, assuming Bitcoin just flatlines from here. Assuming we just have another 2025 for the next 73 years, they're still good. So these people are utter idiots. And by the way, do you? This is gonna take the biscuit now. Do you know where I'm currently reading this data from? I'm reading it from strategy.com, and it's on the homepage. So these morons are not even intelligent enough to go strategy.com. They're literally NPCs. They are literally human robots. They are literally people who are reading a headline perfectly designed to create exit liquidity and short cover liquidity, and repeating it and forwarding it and repeating it and forwarding it. That's all they do. They do not have a brain. They do not have any intelligence. It's shocking. And being in my position, I don't even know. Like I said, I cannot fathom what needed to happen in life for them to be so stupid. I cannot. There's something must have happened. This is beyond being dropped on the head. There's something happened here, right? So MSTR is a behemoth, is a platform of speculation on Bitcoin, and it is proving its value and it's proving its ability to adapt to the market in real time. No one has ever done this before. This is not like, oh, I'm setting up another tech company. No one has ever done this before. So here we are. You got idiots combined with morons, combined with NPCs, spreading FUD, because all they do is read and forward and read and text and read and forward. They don't have a brain, because all you morons had to do was go to strategy.com, and everything that you were thinking would have gone away, because it's right there. And this is a public company. This is a public company with SEC filings. So it's not like they're hiding anything. It's there. Not only that, if you just listen to the updates that they provide, you can see everything. So if anyone reached out to you and said, Saylor's going to get liquidated, they're an idiot. That person should just go on the idiot, you should have a list of people on your WhatsApp, on your phone, whatever, and they should be in the idiot list, because they clearly can't read English. And why are you friends with people that can't read English? Doesn't make any sense. They can't go to strategy.com. They don't know how to type strategy.com. I bet they don't even own strategy stock. I bet they don't even have a broker account. That's how moronic they are. Because strategy understands that their business model is acquiring as much Bitcoin on behalf of shareholders as possible, and they're doing a phenomenal job, and they're ducking and weaving with the market to give the market what it needs to continue to be able to do that. And like I said, as a shareholder, I'm overly impressed. The fact that we got 650,000 Bitcoin. Sure, the share price is down, but what isn't down? Bitcoin's down, 30%. MSTR is down 65%, about 2 to 1, right? Which makes sense based on the IV and the IV going up, right? And by the way, MSTY is down 84%. And if you factor in the dividends that were paid out, on the downside, MSTY was actually technically a better hold, right? To get it for the same exposure on MSTR. Now, I'm not saying that's what you should do, but that's the hard fact numbers. You know how many people talk shit about me talking about MSTR instead of just spot Bitcoin or MSTY, and can't face the facts that the hard numbers show that MSTR is a very effective leverage play. And by the way, as I've been talking, the net leverage ratio just dropped down because MSTR is climbing right now. Just dropped down from 12 to 11%. And you think they're going to get liquidated. Strategy's job is to acquire as much Bitcoin for me as possible. And unless you're a stockholder, and unless you know how to read English, and unless you can go to strategy.com, and unless you can actually understand what's going on, you should stick to spot Bitcoin, if that. Because some would argue, not saying me, some would argue that you belong in a straitjacket, because ultimately there's always only 3 rules to Bitcoin. Step number 1, you buy Bitcoin. Step number 2, you shut the fuck up. And step number 3, you get fabulously wealthy.